So what are some of your favorite movie musicals? I'll tell you mine. Hey, I'm Roxie with Roxie's Broadway Breakdown. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to break down some of my favorite movie musicals that were once stage musicals and then they were adapted into movies. So let's get down to this list. Grease. Grease is probably first on my list because who doesn't like the movie Grease? I think that's something most people can agree on. Who doesn't like Olivia Newton-John, John Travolta, the Pink Ladies, the T-Birds? It's 50s musical. It's upbeat. They really changed it though from the stage version. They're pretty much two totally different things. They cut songs, they added songs, and it's really interesting because when they do the stage revival today, they kind of add the songs that they added in the movie. Go figure. But I do love the movie Grease. West Side Story, the 1961 version of West Side Story that starred Natalie Wood, because I really didn't care for the Spielberg version that came out a couple of years ago. They did make a couple of changes from the stage version, but I think they were correct to do so. Like they switched Officer Krupke and Cool. In the stage version, Krupke is in Act 2 and Cool is in Act 1, but they flipped them for the movie and it made more sense. It made sense to switch Krupke like before the Rumble when they're waiting for the sharks to discuss the Rumble and they're just kind of light and having fun outside Doc's candy shop. And then Cool they do after the Rumble when they're in a dark garage and they're telling each other, you know, simmer down, keep it cool. We don't want the cops to find out what happened. So those were some good changes. Sound of Music. I really dislike the stage version of Sound of Music. I've never liked it. I find it flat. I find it just kind of but the movie, I find epic. I find it grand. I just like the way it's filmed. I think it was just what it was sort of meant to be. And who doesn't love Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer? Yeah, I like the movie Sound of Music. Chicago. I know it's the second longest running show on Broadway. And when I saw it, I was like, really? I don't know. I know it's Bob Fosse's iconic choreography, and I do like that, but it's so small, and it's not this big splashy musical. It's just, I don't know. There's just other shows I like better, but when Rob Marshall turned it into a movie, I felt like this is the way the story should have been told. It's just bigger. The story's just the way it unfolds. I love the chemistry of Renee Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones and Richard Gere and Queen Latifah. I found that the story was told better in the bigger movie version of it on a grander scale. So I do love the movie Chicago. I felt like he could just do more with it. Cabaret. I love the movie Cabaret. I've seen it so many times in so many versions, black box, on stage, in cabaret theaters, and every time I go, I look for a Sally Bowles that's as good as Liza Minnelli, and I'm always disappointed because I think there's no Sally Bowles like Liza Minnelli. So I do love the movie Cabaret, and I think Bob Fosse's direction was just perfection. So I love the movie Cabaret. Same for Funny Girl. I love Barbra Streisand in this role. I think there's no other Fanny Brice like Barbra Streisand. I don't even know if I really just love the story and love the movie that much, but I think this is her role. I think she makes the movie, and therefore I just love the movie Funny Girl. Hairspray. I do like the stage version. I think it's fun. They made definite changes to the movie, but I love the movie. I love John Travolta. Who doesn't love Zac Efron in anything he does? So I love him as Link Larkin. I love Michelle Pfeiffer. I love Christopher Walken. He's so multi-talented. So I love the movie Hairspray, and I like the changes they made. So I love the movie Hairspray. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. I love this movie. It's an oldie but goodie. It's a 1954 movie that starred Jane Powell and Howard Keel. It was choreographed by Michael Kidd, who was a classic choreographer back in the day. But Stanley Donen filmed it, and he really made great use of that CinemaScope frame, and it's just so bright and colorful, and the colors really pop, and the choreography is amazing. And so I just really find this just a really good representation of true musical theater on film. So I love Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Music Man. I think I probably prefer the stage version over the movie of Music Man, but it does star Robert Preston, who is the original Howard Hill on Broadway, so he got to do the movie. It also starred Shirley Jones, and I think they had great chemistry, and I do think it was a really good adaptation of the stage musical, so I put Music Man on the list. It's a really great movie. If you've never seen it, go see it. It's a classic. You know, stream it however you can find it. It's a good movie. And then last but not least, this is really great, guys. Jesus Christ Superstar. Now, I have seen countless productions of Jesus Christ Superstar. I've choreographed it. I love Jesus Christ Superstar. In the movie, it stars Ted Neely as Jesus, Carl Anderson as Judas, Yvonne Elliman as Mary, and so the talent is phenomenal. Norman Jewison, the director, filmed it in Jerusalem primarily. And so he kind of wanted the old feel of like Jesus back in the day, but then he also brought in a lot of contemporary things like costumes and like tanks for the military coming to get Jesus. So it's like a little mesh. It's a very avant-garde film. I don't know that I really care for the movie that much over the stage production, but the talent, you can't deny the talent that's in it. And Ted Neely is amazing. Just side note, I got to see Ted Neely on tour do this role, and even today he's still singing. Like, it was the 50th anniversary of Jesus Christ Superstar. In his 80s, he's still hitting those rock notes, like just screeching those rock notes out in Gethsemane. So, like, hats off to Ted Neely. He's amazing. But what's really one thing that's like amazing in this movie, I watched a documentary on it. Norman Jewison was trying to get the last shot, like the perfect last shot of the cross and like the sunset after Jesus has been brought down. And he wanted the set cleared, no one for miles. And he's getting the last shot. And then all of a sudden he notices this shepherd, one lone shepherd with a sheep, like crossing under the sunset. And he's like, what the hey? Like, where did this person come from? I thought the set was clear. And people are like, I don't know. There's nobody for miles. I don't know where he came from. And they're like, should we cut? And he's like, no. It's like a sign. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Let's just leave it. And I went back and watched it, and it was like, oh my gosh. Like, that's so eerie. It gave me goosebumps. It's a really cool shot. You have to look close to see the shepherd crossing. I don't know, guys. It is a great shot. Go watch it for the talent. Go watch it for that last shot. I don't know. Anyway, there are my choices for best musicals. Let me know some of your favorite movie musicals of all time in the comments below. Don't forget to click and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next.